Welcome back to Golf DMV, talking golf in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and beyond. I'm coming up in a month. We'll be talking golf in Orlando.
Yep.
And we'll be talking about TPC Sawgrass because we're going there. Speaking of that, LB's here. LB, what's up?
Hey.
Also got Vern here. Vern, what's going on?
What's happening?
Speaking of the TPC Sawgrass trip, the deadline to give LB the money for the house was when?
Was the 31st of January.
We're recording this on February 6th. Who hasn't given you their money yet?
Claude. That would be you.
That would be me. Sorry, I'm late.
And I just got Reggie's today.
I was gonna say.
So Reggie was late too.
Yeah.
So we're technically
2 out
paying
of 5. 2 out of 5 is late. That's not
Right.
a good percentage.
No, that's
and
not.
This is why I don't like having to deal with the money part of the trip.
Well, you talked about this in the episode where we did how to plan a golf trip and how you always do it. And so people should go back to that podcast and listen to it.
Yeah.
And he'll voice his frustrations about people saying I want to go, but then they never really confirm. And then when they do confirm, they don't pay.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the ones who paid late. Apparently, Vern paid way early.
Vern was the first to pay. He paid before I paid.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right.
I got Rodney's. He gave me his this week when I saw him in Louisville. He actually handed me a check. So actually, I have it here.
Speaking of Vern paying, new mics courtesy of Vernon Brown, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, no,
Golf
yes,
DMV.
beautiful,
Thank you so much.
beautiful mics.
Really
Beautiful
nice
mics.
looking mics.
Just trying to bring up the show, man. We got to get that press pass. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, speaking of the show, we've got a lot going on. LB back from Louisville. We'll talk about that. We've got a Manny Millions and an Olivia Millions. We'll talk about what that means coming up. Played at Lake Presidential, Vern and I, so we'll talk a little bit about that because it was like 65 degrees February 2nd
it was beautiful.
or 3rd here in the DMV, and so we got a chance to get out. Yeah, 3rd because the 3rd was was Monday.
Yeah.
Got a chance to get out then. Also, I know I found a left-handed instructor.
Oh, perfect.
We'll have more on that.
Okay.
Vern knew about this the whole time.
Yeah.
He knew
I
it,
messed
but he
up.
didn't
I messed
mention
up.
it.
Oh.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
Apologies to everyone.
LB still loves the LPGA tour, or so we think.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get to that, maybe not. It just depends on how the show goes for other reasons. And so we'll see how that goes out. LB was without a phone for a long time. We'll get to that as well. And a couple of stories about the Korn Ferry Tour and the PGL. And so we'll talk all about that.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
That thing. Okay. Yeah. I lost me for a second.
Oil money.
Right. Yeah.
If I could Saudi oil. Yeah. Well, you know. So anyway, if I could just do a quick personal thing for a second.
It's your show.
Well, I mean, it's our show.
Yeah.
It's the DMV show.
Okay.
You know, it's Golf DMV.
All the tools are yours. So
That's right.
Yeah, this is my stuff.
Yeah.
Well, except the mics. But anyway, as we pointed out. So here's the thing. So the past 3 days or so, I had the privilege of working, as I do every now and again, on the Tony Kornheiser show, my favorite podcast.
Right.
This one's not my favorite show.
Right.
I host it. I have fun. I think it's a funny show. This is not my favorite
Be
show.
honest. This is news to me, too. I learned something new today.
because I didn't know that either.
My favorite show is the Tony Kornheiser show. But
right.
No, I like this show better. But anyway, got a chance to work his show. His son, Michael, who's an avid golfer, played in college, played through high school. He actually coaches
too,
at Murray, I believe.
Yeah.
Every day I come in, like, hey, how's things going with the Golf DMV crew? And so I invited him on the show.
Right.
He's never come on the show.
Not to date. He has not.
And so every time he asks me how's the show, I'm like, Mike, you can come on anytime you want to,
Anytime
man.
you want.
Anytime you want.
Open
come on.
invitation.
Exactly, because he knows like golf stuff, from course designers to grass and all other kinds of stuff that we don't really cover a whole lot. Although I feel like Vern knows this stuff. And his golf IQ is higher, but he brings it down to fit into what we do here on the show.
I don't want to lose people. Like you said, to start talking about Bermuda grass and
start getting nerdy on us.
Yeah.
I feel like you can do that. I feel like you can go Bermuda grass. You can go.
I'll tell you what. Maybe
course
not about
designers.
Maybe not about the course, but about the swing. Yeah, I can get deep.
And
into
equipment.
and equipment. Oh yeah. Oh, by the way. Oh well, we'll talk.
Oh, and new shoes. Don't forget shoes.
Yeah. All style.
Yeah.
All day.
Oh, absolutely.
All day. Yeah.
So, well, speaking. Let me put that on the rundown. Speaking of new equipment, we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. So I had a chance to work with Tony Kornheiser. I've got this show. Don't because Tony, gave me this.
Right.
I do get paid to work the show when I'm in working. Right. But he said, "Hey,
it's not a favor."
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do the show for a hat. Because that show, listen,
don't pay the bills. Right?
Execution wise, it's not a tough show for me to do.
Okay,
but the amount of people that listen and who is sitting to my left, which is Mr. Tony. That's a lot of pressure.
Right.
And so that's too much pressure for a hat.
Right.
But I get paid to do it, and I love being there.
Yeah.
But this hat was cool. So I thought, I'll wear it. I'll put it on. And
it's a nice looking hat.
Right. And shout him out on Golf DMV, although I don't think he'll listen.
Probably not.
But I will tag on social media the TK Littles group. because his fan base is strong
Deep.
and
deep too.
and super deep. Yeah, yeah. So I'll tag them
Gotta
on
be
this.
some golfers in there.
Yeah, I'm
absolutely.
Sure.
Some people who can convert. Yeah.
And by the way, some people who, listen to the show and may have connections at their local golf club, look, email us, golfdmvpodcast@gmail.com. You may not be able to get Mr. Tony to play at your golf club, but you can get us
Yes. We
will
as
come.
long as you pay. I mean, listen, and honestly, like Mr. Tony's not going to come play at your local muni
he's not
around the corner
coming.
from your house.
Nope.
We will.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
get the next best thing.
Yes.
Tony
go.
adjacent.
Right. Because Tony's not going to come. We'll come.
Yeah.
And so, so email us, golfdmvpodcast@gmail.com. All the TK Littles. And Michael Leah, he listens to the show. And that was really fun. The second thing, so Vern and I played Lake Presidential on Monday.
Yeah. Played in air quotes.
Yeah.
Your swing didn't hold together?
No, we'll talk. We'll get some.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So my clubs are in the car, but fast forward a few days later so it's 65 degrees that day, right? You fast forward in the DMV, it starts to rain. It's getting cooler on Thursday, the night that we're recording this. In Alexandria, Virginia, recording with a client. We wrap up at her house, pack up my stuff, and get in the car. I'm driving down the street, turn the corner, and like things just don't feel or sound right. But I've got my earbuds in, I'm listening to music.
Okay.
The car just doesn't feel right.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, okay, well, what's going on here? So I stop. The car feels a little uneven, and I'm just thinking, gosh, I hope this is not a tire. Like,
You already know.
be the transmission, like be anything.
Wow.
Because I can maybe make it to a shop, or I can get a tow truck to come, or I'll just sit here for a second and just hope that it gets better.
Sit there and hope it gets better.
Hope it fixes itself. I've done it. Turn the car off, turn it on.
Yeah. I don't hear it now.
I don't hear it now.
Right.
Turn the radio up.
Try to hit Control, Alt, Delete.
Turn the heat off.
Yeah, just it's like maybe it'll work, right? And I get out and it's raining, it's pouring down, and it's a tire.
Yeah.
And so I go in the trunk. I'm like, all right, you know what? It is what it is. I'm going to do what I got to do, and I'm just going to change the tire.
Man up.
I've changed tires before. I know how to do this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
By the way, I remember maybe 12 years ago, there was a guy, adult male, older than me, who called me up one time because his tire was flat and he didn't know how to change
didn't know what
the
to
tire.
do.
Really?
Wow.
And so I literally drove out to Landover somewhere and taught some guy close to 40 how to change a tire.
Sad state of affairs. I can't even blame millennials on that one either.
Right.
Well,
He's too old to not know that.
Yeah.
Did you take his man card?
It seemed like he felt bad already.
I still would have took it.
Well, I mean, taking his man card is something I can physically do, right? So I'll take it now.
Well,
give me that man card right
I
now.
would have talked so much smack as I was showing him, and I wouldn't have touched the thing. I would have pointed and directed.
This is what you do.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
So-
have touched the thing.
Let me just encourage all of our people out there, like, teach your boys,
And girls. And your daughters, yep.
like, basic
stuff.
things,
How
like
to change a tire.
So you're
What
never
to do when
stuck.
Yes.
Get
So
to the side of the road. Don't get on that side. Get on your tires busted on the right side. Get on the right shoulder. If it's
Right.
on the left, you get over that side. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
So I pull over and I'm like, okay, I'm just prepared to get drenched because it's raining, but I'm going to change this tire because I'm not going to be in Alexandria waiting for a tow truck. I can change the tire. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then just something about being a man, you're like, I'm not rain, whatever. I'm going to get out of
Exactly.
here. I haven't done manual labor in a few years. And so
years.
I do radio. Like, I don't do manual labor. So I haven't got my hands dirty in a while.
In a minute,
Yeah, I mean, the most dirty my hands get is, when I'm uprooting the banana tree
cutting
outside the
grass.
front of my house. Yeah, and I'm trying to put it in a pot for the
At least you do that.
Exactly.
I pay somebody to do it. I hate grass. But anyway, yeah.
So I'm like, I can do this. Manual labor. Let's, just because every now you just want to make sure you keep it real. So I get out the car and I open the trunk, and what's in there? My golf bag
gloves.
with the golf umbrella, the big one.
Right.
And I'm like,
the big 60-inch joint.
there you go.
Saved my life.
Golf saved you.
I was like, man, because if it wasn't for that round Monday, the golf bag wouldn't have been in the car, and the umbrella wouldn't have been there.
Yep.
And so I made myself a little shelter from the rain, like I'm on Naked and Afraid. Is that the Discovery Channel or
Yeah, Discovery.
Discovery
Yeah.
Channel? I made myself a little fort,
Oh my goodness.
Ready for it.
Where are you on, like one or?
No, so I'm on a back road, like La Grande
okay,
East
so side
Curtis
road.
or something. Yeah, like I think it might have been East Curtis. But,
Okay.
So I make my fort, and then I take out my golf towel
Right.
to put it on the ground, because now that I got a fort, I can't get my clothes wet.
Oh, no.
I mean, I might as well
Your
go
knees,
all the way.
exactly.
I might as well go all the way metrosexual now.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was down for the grunting manhood wet stuff, but then I saw the umbrella. It's like okay,
until you realize you had tools,
right? So it's like I can revert back to
you got tools. You may as well use
it.
them.
Go clean Claude. And so I put the towel down under the fort. It didn't get wet. It took me a couple minutes, to make sure it didn't hit the umbrella a little bit. But then the 20 minutes and the tire's done.
There you go.
So golf saved my life.
There you go.
That's the point of the story.
That's the whole point of this meaningless.
Bring your golf stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
Keep your golf stuff in the car.
Keep it in the car. It may save you.
Never know when you might need it.
Exactly.
That's right.
Precisely. And there were some sketchy Caucasian people in the area, and so I wanted to make sure I had a club near me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tire iron.
Yeah. So I was like,
sir, do you live here? The crowd starts gathering around you.
Obvious that I'm changing the tire.
Is it your tire? Whose tire is that?
Taking the wheels off that car? Like, I'm stealing the wheels off a 2007 Camry. Right? Get out of here. No, that's all
man.
fine. So speaking of Lake Presidential, let's talk a little bit about our round. We got a chance to get out and play.
Yeah.
I pull up maybe 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes before our tee time, something like that. I run in. Vern's already at the driving range, of course. And so we pull out and play. To me, the biggest thing from the round, two things. I got my driver, the newer driver, I got the shafts shortened.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And I think it made a difference.
Hey, he was dialed in, bro.
Okay.
He was dialed in, the driver. He's being modest.
Okay.
Yeah, he was looking like you out there. Except shorter. I'm just not taking a shot.
No, you're right. Yeah. I wasn't long. I could just control it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, his control was on point.
And I'll take
That's all you need.
No, but it's funny because here's the story of my life from the tee box. Is I'll hit a drive, and if it's straight, and I'm like, man, I feel good about this.
Right.
And then, like clockwork, Monday, then Vern puts his ball in the ground, put tee ball, and he hits his driver. It's 50 yards further than mine. And I'm just like, will I ever be able to hit the ball long? Like, it's disheartening, but I just take solace in the fact that it's in the fairway.
It's short grass.
It's
short grass.
He hit like the majority of your fairways.
I felt good about that. So the highlight to me for the round though were two things. Number one, there was a gentleman there who was on hole number 9.
Yeah.
He works at the club, and they were doing this like deal where if you give him $20 and you hit the green on that par 3, they give you $40 in pro shop credit.
Right.
Oh, okay. Like they do at tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you don't hit the green, he'll still give you $20 in pro shop credit. So basically, no matter what you win, you just win pro shop credit, not your money. We didn't do any of that.
No.
But he listens to the show. I mean, we were just sitting there talking afterwards.
Mike was his name.
Mike was his name. Yeah. He says, "Hey, are you got those guys from Golf DMV?" The show, I'm like, and he used to work at Glendale. Yeah. And he said he remembers us coming up there and doing a couple shows.
He actually recognized Claude's voice.
Wow.
Because he heard him talking. He's like, that's when he was like, "Yeah, you sounded familiar,"
Wow.
Yeah. So not not my monotone.
Yes, I'm the guy from Golf DMV. That's how I was kind of like,
but no, it was cool that he recognized.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that he recognized. I was like, because I was surprised too. I was like, oh yeah, and then he kind of followed up. It's like, hey, a nice thing, and he's like, yeah, I heard it one time. I listened to it one time. I was like, all right, I'll take that.
Well, he's lying though, because there's no way you can listen to that one time and then recognize his voice.
That's true.
He's
heard it a couple times.
So yeah, he lied. Yeah. And if you're listening, I'm saying you lied.
Okay. All right.
This LB, I called you out.
According to him, he wouldn't be listening now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Then if he is listening now, he did lie.
Yeah.
Right. That's good. So he worked at Glendale. So we talked a little bit about that. And then he said, you guys should do a tournament, a Golf DMV like golf tournament. And I'm like, would you play or and
we need to get people out, and that's the challenge. A lot of people, like Claude was saying, a lot of people have ideas about what we should be doing,
right?
But don't want to help put up the money or the time.
Exactly. Like, y'all should do. You should do. It's like the last thing any of us needs is more you should do's.
Yeah.
More.
I got my own list.
Yeah, I got my own list on things.
Yeah, pretty much.
But if the Golf DMV community wants to do that, email us golfdmvpodcast@gmail.com if you want to organize a Golf DMV tournament.
Or help us, or at least assist. I wouldn't say you have to do everything.
I'd be happy if you just
be part of the process. You don't have to do
everything.
Be part of the helping
hand.
I'd be curious to see how many people we could get in the tournament, because it's like it can't just be Aaron and my dad.
Right, exactly.
And
Speaking of Aaron, we emailed the other day.
Did you?
He and I emailed the other day. He's doing good. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I sent Aaron his shirt. He knows this, but it kept getting returned because he wasn't home to receive it from UPS or whatever.
Why you have to be? It should be put in the mailbox.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then he just said, "Well, just keep it until I see you again."
Wow, that's interesting.
There's a shirt. How big is it?
Yeah, they roll it up and put it in the mailbox.
Yeah.
We get stuff every day from UPS, FedEx, regular post office.
Just chuck it in there.
And it's stuffed in the mailbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm not coming back out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the guy was just upset about it. So yeah, we had that, and then the other thing that was a great takeaway was the fact that so we pull up because the cart we had was dying.
Oh my God! Twice.
Really?
Twice.
On the
So you
front
got two different ones, and they both.
I mean, this thing is just jerking and jerking and going along. And so we pull up to the clubhouse to trade it in, and the guy says, "Oh, it's not working anymore." It's like, yeah, he said, "Well, it's been happening all day."
Yeah.
And he was kind of upset.
He was.
So we're like, "Hey man, I get it. You're upset. Just give us another card
Right.
so we can go finish it." So anyway,
Exactly.
he pulls another one out, and he's out there. He puts Vern's clubs on the cart, and then Garrett from the pro shop, he puts my clubs on the cart.
Yep.
And says, "Hey, I didn't know you were left-handed." And I said, "Yeah, man, I'm left-handed. I'm really struggling right now because I want to find a left-handed instructor." And he says, "You know I'm left-handed, right?" I said, "Garrett, I didn't know you were left-handed. Like we never talked about this."
Right.
Does anyone remember a few episodes back? Vern took a
Took a lesson.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I was standing in front of him. Once he said it, I was like, "Oh yeah, he is left-handed." That's right. Because I remember when he was teaching me, he would take my club and set up like a right hand or whatever. But he had his own club, and I literally said, "Oh, left-handed club."
Right.
And that was the end of that. Never thought to mention to Claude. I don't know how I disconnected it, but I remembered it instantly right when he said it.
I'm like, this golf instructor competition is tearing us apart.
Yeah, it
we
is.
can't let this break us up.
And listen, he immediately, when he found that out, like whoever's in need would dropped out of his mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm no
Yeah,
longer
yeah,
taking
you
lessons
should,
there.
yeah.
And I will drive to LP to take lessons from Garrett because I want to try it because inevitably, anytime I take lessons from anyone who's right-handed, they always say, and so with your right hand, what you want to do? Well, for you, it's the opposite because you're left-handed. And then they keep explaining it, and I'm like,
Right. Yeah,
you have to. And so I just want to see if someone else like me,
Right.
left-handed, if I could,
Well, there's no translation going on. You can just mirror his movements.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we'll see. So Garrett, you've got a new client.
Cool.
Have I signed up for anything yet?
Of course not.
No. No.
I haven't even paid for my golf trip
too
yet.
early.
That's true.
Right. What about you from LP? Vern, by the way, played very well at LP. I think.
I did okay.
You drove the ball well.
I did towards the middle there. I started to drive the ball well.
Okay.
I was really working on a lot of these motions to get the club to drop in the slot and everything else. And this is where it was kind of protracted a little bit because imagine swinging the club in a completely new way. Like imagine trying to learn a new walk.
Right, yeah.
You're gonna look real awkward and stupid. So,
Well, at least feel that way. Even if you don't look that way, you feel that way.
That's true. I don't know what it looked like, but it did feel that way. So I'd have to rehearse, and then hit. But towards the end there, I texted Glenn the other day. Like I hit a couple 260-yard drives, and I don't even have it down yet.
Right.
So this is good. The irons I got it's still
I feel like your iron game was good though.
It wasn't too bad. Lots of thin, like much less erratic than before.
Okay.
Not as many pulls and stuff like that. So I think working in the house has helped. I've got the little foam balls I was telling him, and I'm like making like impact drills in the house and chipping and all this other stuff. And then I do it a couple 50, 60, 100 times a day. And hopefully it's going to get better by the time. But basically, I'm not trying to go down to Orlando. This is my one time. You talk about why paying early. The reason I'm so thirsty to pay early is because I have two toddlers at home and I don't get out very much.
Right.
So, like, for everyone else, they're like, oh, yeah, the trip is a thing and it's coming up. Like, I'm marking off days on the calendar.
Right. You got a countdown clock.
I got like a release date.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about the trip. So I want to go down there and play well. You know what I'm saying? I want to play like trash.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. I went Tuesday when I got back in town Monday. I went to range Tuesday.
Yeah, I
it was
think you
still
told
kind of
me.
nice.
Yeah.
I went to Blue Mash, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was two guys on the green.
Okay.
Nobody on the short game area, and nobody on the range. That was it. So I had the place to myself basically. So I probably hit 75 balls at the short game area,
and then the rest.
And then went down to the. I didn't use my bucket. These are balls that was just up on the range.
Okay.
On the short game area. Then I went down to the range and kept working on my swing. And so far, it's still holding together.
I was about to ask. Brendan's stuff still holding up?
It's still holding. I probably did half of my bucket on 100-yard shot.
Right.
I had one green that was at 97 or something like that.
Right.
And we
I
talked
did
about
half
that,
of my
like,
buckets just on that.
So
on that
much
one
of the
green.
game, 100 yards and in.
Yes.
We talked about that at LP.
Yeah, at LP, yeah. And, I will say that part of my game was much better. Just like when we played at Falls Road, I think it was. Pitching.
Yeah.
I basically just do the drill and then I'm able to pitch it up, no duffs. So that's good. So this will be.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too.
I'm interested to see get you out on the course before we get to Orlando. You're gonna play before then.
It's all about the weather.
Yeah,
it's all about the weather.
It's not cooperating this week. Good Lord.
No, not at all. So you just talked about when you got back, LB. You were in Louisville. Talk a little bit about the Louisville trip.
I'll make this kind of fast because I know we're going on time.
We've got a time going.
Yeah.
So I went to Louisville. We left. My wife and I went down on Friday morning. Yeah, Friday morning. So we went to Rodney's house. Anthony, who's another friend. I met Anthony through Rodney. They were in the Army together. So I've known Anthony probably 25 years, something like that.
Okay.
So Anthony's originally from New Orleans, so it was his idea because he knew the Saints was going to the Super Bowl that we were going to have the seafood fest at Rodney's house, and because he's New Orleans and he likes to cook.
Okay.
And
He's decent.
Well, I told him this as I was eating this gumbo on Sunday. I told Anthony, I had my doubts about you, to be honest with you, because I ain't never seen. I know you know. Most people say, "Oh, well, big people can eat." Anthony, big boy. I mean, he ain't missed no meals.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big guy. And people say, people say, "Oh, big people can cook." That's not necessarily true.
Right.
No, it's not.
Anthony can cook.
Okay.
His gumbo was really good.
Is he from Louisiana?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's from down there. So he says,
now, are we sure he can cook because he's big, or can he cook because he can cook?
He can cook because he can cook. I'm assuming.
Chicken or the egg?
That may be why he is big because he can cook.
Right.
I don't know the scenario how it all goes about.
All right, email us if you're a big person and you want to cook for us. Email us at DMV Podcast at gmail.com.
But it was really good. We had a great time. So Anthony was there, his wife Delidia, and his daughter Michaela, and Rodney, Michelle, and Ronnie was there as well. And I met a brother named Chad. He was there. Ronnie is Michelle's cousin.
Okay.
Ronnie.
I've never heard of him.
Ronnie. Okay. No. Yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
Brother named Chad.
Yeah.
Small group. I like those guys because my name's Vernon. Nobody's named Vernon. So, old name, white name. Got it.
But yeah, we had a really good time. I drank
too much on Saturday.
How much is too much? Take us through your drinking day.
Okay. So I started. So we got to their house and everybody's getting circled.
This is coming from someone. I don't think you mind me saying this. So I'm asking someone who said drunk too much from years ago when you had texted one time you were down at a Florida-Kentucky football game.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember that.
And he texted saying, "I'm literally just leaning on the wall."
Yeah.
And just text that to us. Try not to fall. So what's the drinking too much? Take me through.
So we get to the house that morning probably about about noon or something. Brenda and I had went out. We did a lot of looking for bourbon and rye. So I brought back like 5 bottles of whiskey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Angel's Envy was on sale for Angel's Envy rye, which here it's like $110.
It's like $100 bottle.
It was on sale for $70. And we were in Total Wines looking at it, and another guy he said, it's another store such and such is having it on sale. And I was like, really? He said for $70. I said, oh. Where? I put the stuff back on the shelf. Hey, where did he say?
I don't need this.
Roddy, you know where that is? And we all got in the car and left and went to this other place and this other liquor store and basically went and talked to the owner.
Right.
Well, I talked to one lady and she said, no, it's not on sale. I'm like, well, somebody just told us it was. She said, well, I don't know. Ask, I forget his name. I have his car. He's the owner. Ask him. So I walk up and ask him. I said, hey, I understand you got a Angel's Envy on sale, right? He said, how many bottles you want? I said, how many you got?
Yeah. So this is the story of how much drinking is too much. How many bottles of whiskey do you have? That's not how much should I drink?
Right.
How much is available?
How much is here in the store?
Yeah.
What do you got?
Right, but I took back enough that I knew I could get in my suitcase. So I only took 5. I only took 5.
I got you.
5. But back to my drinking. So we get back to the house and it's like 2:00. We're starting to cook up some stuff or whatever.
Right.
So I started in then on Grey Goose and I had a couple cigars.
Okay.
That was at 2:00 in the afternoon. Right. Okay. So we didn't go out until 9. We need to go out till 9.
Okay, 7 hours.
Right. And then at some point after dinner, after we ate, somebody pulled out tequila shots. And I think that's what got me. Tequila shots.
It always does.
Yeah, because we had, I think I probably had 5.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
5 or 6 shots.
I was going to say like 2 or 3. No.
Right. And then we get to the club. And it is the club is Jerry Green and Friends. Anybody's ever gone to Louisville, you know who I'm talking about.
Right.
He is an institution. He's a legend.
Okay.
And what's the name of the place?
It's called the guy's name is Jerry Green, but his Jerry Green and Friends.
Okay. It's the name of the club.
It's in the basement of a hotel.
Okay.
It's no name brand hotel, but it's a hotel that's it's a landmark in the Louisville area. And he's like he's a cross between like a Lou Rawls and a Sammy Davis Jr. lounge singer type guy.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Throwback.
Yeah. But it's really entertaining because he's talented, but he's
not quite.
yes.
He's one of these guys where you can't tell if he's a good bad singer or bad good singer.
Right. Yeah, he's kind of like that.
Yeah.
And he's very theatrical and stuff. I'm talking sequence shoes and a jacket.
He's entertaining.
He's an entertainer.
On a small level.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, he'll get into the music, roll around on the floor.
You don't mind going to the basement of a hotel to see him.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's true.
You
That's
go
true.
around,
I thought about that.
in the corner, you can get a styrofoam box full of chicken wings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Not a residency to Bally's. I got you. Okay.
It's a fun spot. We go all the time.
Yeah, sure.
But I think the tequila is what put me over the top.
So the tequila was 5 shots before this.
This is before we get to before 9.
Wow.
Are you feeling like I should probably not go out before? Like
Oh,
before
no doubts at all.
I just bought 5 bottles of whiskey.
I'm psyched up. Right, I'm psyched up. We're gonna have a good time. So when we get there, I'll order a round of drinks for everybody. So that's one.
Right.
And then I come back. Me and Brennan and I dance. We dance a lot, so we go.
Nice.
When Jerry's not in the way, because he's like trying to sing and stuff on the dance floor and stuff. It's crazy. So we finally. Then I come back to the table. There's another Grey Goose on the table. Rodney, I think I bought me another one.
Took that,
and then so I drank that, and then I come back. One point I go dance again. I come back. There's another drink there.
Right.
And I'm not the kind of person you're not gonna put alcohol in front of me, and then I'm gonna leave it.
Right.
That ain't what I do.
That's how we arrived where we got.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how we got. That's how we arrived. Yeah. So this Sunday, I think I only had 3 there.
Okay.
Yeah, plus the tequila, plus what I had started drinking at 2 until.
Right.
So it all added up to I was pretty lit by the time we got.
Now, at what point upon waking up did you realize you had made a mistake?
Well, I would have called it a mistake. That's an overstatement. But I would say
just overdid it.
Right. So Sunday when we get to that, we go back to Rodney's house because we stayed at the Hilton down the street. So we come back to get to Rodney's house. Sunday, first thing I immediately do is I get a blanket.
Yep.
I get in the recliner and I turn on the farmer's insurance was on.
Right.
I get in front of the TV. I recline my seat and I'm there. I'm there for about 4 hours.
Oh wow! For the broadcast,
pretty much.
Wait, waste management.
No, this is in the morning.
Waste management, right?
Waste management.
Yeah.
So at some point, I even put the blanket like over my head and took a little nap. And nobody would bother me. I can hear people going past it, but nobody messed with me. And then about 4 something, maybe about 3, I got up and I felt better.
Fess yourself again a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then by the halftime, I was drinking again.
Well, I mean, you had 5 bottles of whiskey.
Yeah. But I brought all them home intact, so they all.
They didn't even break open the.
No,
wow.
no. I took a bottle for Rodney to have it. You got to put a bottle on the shelf. Sure. I did that.
Yeah.
But he had some other stuff too that I was drinking. So yeah. He has a really well stocked bourbon collection.
I believe he should. He lives in Kentucky. Damn better.
Exactly.
If there's anything else to talk about from Louisville, we'll talk about it on the other side of this break. You got top of the hour news coming up if you're listening on Federal News Network. If you're listening to on the podcast, then you've got some. We've got an ad for Cache Spine Sports coming up. You listen to Golf DMV.